I'll just have a
Cool.
look. If you can see us, please say hello. We're just getting started. So just for those of you who tuned in last week, we're going to do every Tuesday, we're going to get together and do a live stream. Thank you very much to Lucy for providing us with some level of professionalism for our live stream this week.
Thank you so much to Meow for having the tech know-how to stream in the first place. This would have taken me several years.
Yeah, I think I tried to do it a long time ago when I was streaming Hearthstone. Have you seen this? It's like
That's a video game.
Video game by Blizzard, yeah.
Ooh.
It's like Magic, and I used to play that when I was in high school.
Were you good at it?
Sebastian. Sebastian is my friend.
Hey.
And our thoughts go out to you, Sebastian. He's currently recovering from COVID-19 in New York City.
Straight up.
Sebastian is probably the most talented plant engineer I've ever spoken to in my entire life.
Sebastian, what's a plant engineer? What is that?
Molecular flower designer.
Oh my God. Are
Super
we talking
cool.
new flowers? Are we talking...
Genetically modified.
Wow.
Crimes against nature.
Is that like the pineapple that was turned pink?
That would be a very, very simplified version. I think Sebastian's dream is to, while sharing with everyone along the way, create flowers like we might build like a circuit board or paint a painting. Sebastian basically wants to just be able to look at a flower and say, you know what, I want to put a wavy pattern on the petals, or I might want to make, a black rose, completely black.
Oh my God.
Really inspiring. So, and we've been lucky enough to have Sebastian in Australia before. Willy Wonka, but less exclusive nonsense. Sebastian is probably the only biohacker I know in the world that hasn't sold out.
Cool, man. I respect that.
Yeah, I've sold out well and truly. Okay, so and this week we have Facebook chat in our window, which is super cool. And
So cool.
fuck, it's been a big week.
It has been a big week. Let's have a little look at what happened this week. But, we might not even know because we don't have the news. So how do we know what's going on?
We're the most authoritative news source on Facebook at the moment. So, and we were just speaking with Lucy's mum, Liz, and I didn't realize how much I rely on Facebook for news because she just gave us a download. I'm like, oh, that all happened. I didn't even see it.
I rely on your Facebook profile for news, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
And the thing is that, I didn't think I relied on it as much as I do. And for those of you overseas, news in Australia just got shut down by Facebook because the government was trying to make Facebook and Google pay Murdoch for news, which is insanity. But also, it's a Goliath versus Goliath battle. Like, fuck Facebook, fuck Google, and fuck the news giants.
Yeah.
No one, I don't care who pays who. I just want access to the news, and I want it free.
Yeah, look, I agree with that. Although I don't mind subscription services to different, media, because I think that the more money that goes to journalists, the happier I am.
I believe I'm a big fan of socialized news.
Fair enough.
So I think I like the way that the ABC is government funding, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But I also think that they should be immune from government control. So a certain amount of our tax should go to ABC, but they should be able to criticize as much as they want, and they shouldn't be worried oh no, if we say something bad about X party, we're going to have all of that money taken away. You can't really have an unbiased news source that's beholden to the government, right?
That's right. That's why I love Media Watch.
It's good.
It's a good one.
That's it. That's it. And they watch themselves as well, which is very good.
Themselves.
Yeah. Okay, so flowers are weed with an advertising budget. Sebastian is a John Singleton of the flower. It's true. It's true. That's a very apt comment. And I recommend anyone that wants to follow what Sebastian is up to. He runs Binomical Labs. He's easy to get in contact with. Any of the biohacking groups on Facebook, you can find him, and he always helps. So if you don't know where to get started, he will give you a push in the right direction and fix any problems you have. And if your houseplant at home is dying, he will also give you some suggestions on how to fix it.
Sebastian, I just want to know, is it possible to have each petal a different color? I'm really curious about that.
So when we start projects like this, are there any plants now that do it?
Oh, right. And
generally what we do is we find something that already does it,
right,
steal the instructions from that, and then give it to the thing that we want, because all of the language of life is interchangeable.
The language of life.
That's it. They all, from bacteria through to plants, through to animals, fungi. You can take genes out of one thing and put it in another, and it's it does the thing that you took it from in the new thing. So a good example is insulin. That's the project that everyone talks about, biotech. We took we used to get insulin by squeezing pigs' pancreases.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, it takes like, a mountain of pancreases to keep one diabetic alive. So what we did was took a gene from humans that makes insulin, put it inside bacteria, and then it makes human insulin, and we brew it just like we brew beer. And
is that because pigs are sort of DNA-wise similar to us?
Really similar. Right. Really similar. Have you seen a pig in real life? Its face?
Yeah.
It looks human. It's like fucking creepy.
Have you ever seen a human that looks like a pig?
Plenty of times. Speaking of which, let's cover some of the stuff that happened this week. So we talked about that this news ban. But we just found out it's been lifted, but we don't know the details.
Yeah, Sydney Morning Herald just released an article 3 hours ago, sort of detailing a change in the agreement between the government and Facebook and Google. But we read the article and we thought it was sort of vague, so it doesn't really say anything outright that's very clear that we can comment on.
Because we know that Google paid 9 News, which is Murdoch, $30 million or something, right?
Is that it? Right.
So it says Facebook is going to lift their ban, but does that mean that they're paying? Because I don't think they're going to.
I guess we'll see in the coming weeks.
Didn't answer that, Helen. So like I think if you're answering that comment, we don't know what's happening with that. So it'll be interesting to find out. I think Facebook is a conduit of information, not just the news. We also saw what else got banned. We saw.
Are you talking about like within the whole ban, how different other entities got banned?
So at the start, all of the satire news, like the Shovel, etc., got banned, but so did the public health pages, like Queensland Health.
So my friend's legal centre, like community legal centre, was also banned. I think it's because they classified their page with the tag media. So perhaps it was a sort of across all that tag ban. I'm not sure. But
do you think that if it's like, in public health related or like crisis services, like, you couldn't tweet about the pandemic, you couldn't, if there was a disaster, SES got taken down, like all these things, Bureau of Meteorology was taken down.
Right.
Which is the weather. So nonsense.
Yeah, I think that was a dangerous move by Facebook to do that. Even though we're broadcasting to Facebook right now, as well as Twitch.
We're going to get shut down. We're going to ban the news.
I think maybe we're not important enough, but
not yet.
Not yet.
The most interesting comment that I saw about this whole thing was one of my friends shared an image saying we should socialize Facebook, that public spaces deserve to be owned by the public.
How would that look? What would that be like?
The government would buy and or seize control of Facebook and then make it a public asset, and it would be owned by the people. So the government would run Facebook, but it would basically be, we wouldn't have to get ads served to us. It would just be a government service, like we go to hospitals. Like we don't pay, we just go, right? It's paid for by tax dollars. ABC is a socialized news distribution. This would be a socialized social media.
So we're talking about like China.
Yeah.
Government-owned social media. If you guys don't know, in China, Google's banned. So instead I used Bing, which no one uses. But we would use Bing. Facebook's banned.
YouTube, I guess, is banned too.
YouTube is banned. Twitter is banned. Reddit is banned. Everything's pretty much banned. I'm trying to think about what isn't banned, but we just used alternatives, or we just used the Chinese version of things. So I guess, when you have government-controlled social media, that's another thing. By the way, guys, can you just let us know if this microphone is picking up a good audio?
We don't know which microphone is actually working. We think it's this one. I was doing some tests before, and we've got NBN this week, so we actually have decent streaming. Hopefully.
Hopefully. Actually, can we try and do a voice effect? And then we'll know if it's this microphone. So I have a TC Helicon Voice Live Touch 2. It was very expensive. I saw Kimbra using it on YouTube, and she uses it to loop and
Which
scat.
one's Kimbra?
Kimbra is the one that
Am I out of touch with you? See somebody that I used to know?
Yes, so she's in that. She's a New Zealand artist, and her music's really quirky. She's sort of small, and she's got like a dark bob. So let us know if we get any vocal effects happening. So if I go voices, effects. Let's try trans.
Does that work?
Testing.
Does this work?
Oh, to test microphone, speak directly into.
I'm gonna do something topical. Faster.
Oh,
Yeah,
better.
Harder.
Stronger.
Yeah, there you go. Did we get any voice effects?
I'm not sure. There could be a I don't know, transistor or something.
We might have to play.
Let's try delay. Delay. Is there any delay happening with our sound? No. All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Tom.
That's
I appreciate that.
So we might not be using this microphone. We'll try it again for next week. So Daft Punk. I saw a post. Daft Punk are still no longer releasing music, but now they're doing it separately. So I think it's been 10 years since they released an album.
Yeah.
And what's the point of them breaking up? Like.
Yeah, I guess that when you're, in a team for a very long time, I think that sometimes people's relationships change, and so maybe it was a case of that. But I was
like a divorce.
Yeah, a little bit of a divorce, but also when you're working creatively with people all the time, I think that relationship can get hard if it's over many years, and if it's over stressful things like staying up late and playing live gigs. I think there's a lot of stress that comes with the musician lifestyle. Yeah, but I was a little bit devastated today because I saw my hairdresser today and I said, "Oh my God, Daft Punk just broke up," and she said, "Who's that?" And I went, "Oh," I felt bad, and I said, "Oh, like and she's like, "Kanye," and oh no.
Kanye. Did he feature on their last album?
So I think he did like a sort of remix with them of quite a bit of Faster, Stronger. Yeah.
Jason Nevins did Lucky. That was like the big one off their last album, I think.
Oh, it was Pharrell, I think.
Pharrell, sorry.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. For a while. So they're broken up, and someone mentioned they were the only two COVID-safe musicians in existence. So sad. They could have let us out of it. I think we just needed one really good album.
Yeah. Or we would maybe never even have known that they'd broken up because they just pass on their helmet to someone new. We wouldn't know.
Well, there was a conspiracy theory about this.
Yes?
They didn't exist, right? They were just shills that were taking samples that Sony already made and remixing them to resell Sony music. And they just got like people off Airtasker to be like, stand in front of the decks and just push buttons.
Airtasker.
Yeah, and they're like, just because they're anonymous, right? So what's the point of them even breaking up?
That's my favorite conspiracy. I love the idea of Daft Punk hiring from Airtasker.
Liz says that Daft Punk are the Beatles of electronic music.
Wow. Yeah.
We need fucking polls on
I'd agree with that.
I would actually agree. I would agree with that. Oh yeah, so we didn't have time to do it this week, but next week we're going to have widgets, which we're very excited for.
Much more exciting than us. Widgets change everything.
Yeah, we need I think costume changes.
I'll be right back. No.
So other things that have happened in Australia, or in fact in solar system news.
Okay.
What happened? What's the big news?
So Perseverance.
Yeah.
Landed on Mars.
Yeah.
Successfully. What does that mean? Like what outcome do we like? So are we studying Mars's surface?
Mm-hmm.
Are we collecting a sample coming back? Is Perseverance living there forever?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
So but why? We don't have Curiosity. Why have we got like Curiosity 2, right? Because that's what it is. Curiosity worked, right? Which is a big thing. So they didn't know. Curiosity was like a long shot that it would work because it had so many different elements that all had to come together for it to actually land. And it turns out it works really well. They have this, sky crane and things coming down on pulleys, and this thing's the size of a VW Beetle, right?
Wow. Okay.
It's huge. It's like absolutely massive.
In the pictures, I know it's silly, but I'm like, okay, it's like that big,
Yeah. Well, the previous ones were.
Oh, okay.
They all die after like 6 months or 2 years because the dust storms kill the solar panels.
Oh, okay. And there's some pretty hectic dust storms on Mars, right?
Crazy dust storms.
Okay.
How are Curiosity and Perseverance powered?
How?
Plutonium.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it's basically radioactive material.
Radioactive material. Is plutonium like very present on Earth or only a little bit?
We have to make it inside nuclear reactors.
Really?
And NASA hates using it.
Why?
They have to buy it from the Russians.
Ooh.
Boom, boom, boom. Because it only has a 2-year half-life, so after 2 years, it's kind of like loses efficiency.
Oh.
Well, it's half the amount that you started with.
Yeah.
But you need a nuclear weapons program to basically generate plutonium, and the US doesn't have a super good nuclear weapons program, so they buy it at some ridiculous price, $1 million a kilo or something from, or maybe more than that, maybe $10 or $100 million a kilo.
Yeah. Do you know what the what's it called? The on the periodic table. Do you know what the number is or the chemical signature?
What did I say? It was plutonium.
No pressure if you don't know. It's a random question.
I'm trying to think. It's got to be after 60.
Okay, because
probably after 90. It's transuranium.
Going back to science in high school, like the higher the number, the more it's like electrons. What is it?
More protons it has.
More protons. Okay.
That's it. And the more protons, the less stable the nucleus.
Hey.
And as it breaks apart, that energy getting released is radiation.
Okay.
So the further down that end it is, the more radioactive it's going to be, and that comes off as what we basically heat, right? Magical rocks that never get cold. And that's what keeps it warm on Mars, is you create a hot and a cold bit, and the difference creates power.
Okay.
Right? Oh. Yeah, they put this thing called a thermoelectric cooler between, and you create radioisotope thermoelectric generator is what it's called. Basically, it uses hot and cold on either side to generate power.
All right.
That's what the satellites that just left the solar system use.
Yeah.
But if you look at Juno, which was the one that went to Jupiter, has giant fucking solar panels. It's like literally as far away from the sun that you can go and still get power, but it has these gigantic solar panels because they didn't want to pay for plutonium. So they put these gigantic solar panels, and they can't actually run solar missions past Jupiter or Saturn, whichever one's further. Mm-hmm. It's the absolute furthest. After that point, you can't get enough light to power
it, to move it along.
If you want to put solar panels, fly towards the sun.
Oh, okay, I see.
Elon Musk could do well to listen to this.
Totally.
Started to fucking,
I'm so interested in this stuff. Do you guys find this really interesting? Wait, first of all, any femboys in the chat?
Maybe. Please discuss the awkwardness of the NASA control. Did you watch the landing?
No, I read about it being really awkward because everyone had to be COVID safe.
That's right. So generally, what do they generally do when touchdown happens? So first of all, that's it.
Yeah.
And they eat peanuts during the landing because it's good luck, right?
Is it?
So they're always eating peanuts, and then they're jumping up, grabbing each other, they're having a great time.
Oh, they were silently celebrating, like screaming on the inside. That's so funny.
Awkward fist bumps from across the room.
Oh, the energy must have been weird,
right? Exciting. We just landed on another fucking planet, but also like everyone was like spaced at least 1.5 meters apart because like COVID's serious business in America. You can fucking die.
Yeah.
Right? And young people are not exempt. They're just less likely to die.
Yeah.
Like
have serious, like health implications already.
Yeah. But even some of them, there was like I've seen Instagram influencers that are healthy, early 30s, dying of COVID.
Right.
Speaking of which, we had a sad milestone today. Did you see? What was it?
Big number, 500 or
500,000 people in America died of COVID. That's a lot.
I always think this is going to be written in the history books and just analyzed as being really strange.
And that number's like, one death is a tragedy.
Yeah.
100 deaths is a statistic.
It's just a statistic, yeah.
Like, what's the difference between 100,000 or 500,000? But that's like more than the population of Canberra, right?
Right.
If I could kill 500,000 people, it would probably be Canberra, right? But my dad, you can survive. My stepmom, you can survive.
Yeah, because you also want to take out the politicians as well that are
there.
Is that part of it?
If you had to take out 500,000 people, where would you do it?
Oh my god, this question.
I instantly know. I'm like, Canberra plus I still got 100,000 up my sleeve.
This is like which life do I value less? Oh my god. I don't know, I have to think about it.
Tell me. Okay.
Ooh.
What we got? Anything?
A Brazilian professional esports player died at 26.
But esports is not really healthy.
Right. Maybe it isn't.
I don't know. It
because it's like dark room and like that terrible posture, the worst posture.
Yeah.
And like eating just 2-minute noodles all day.
Are there aliens under the Europa ice sheet? So Europa is a moon of Jupiter.
Because
And then
I thought you were going to say Europe ice sheets, and I was like, definitely, there are so many ice sheets in Europe.
Yeah.
Sorry, but yeah, Europe.
there could be aliens there too.
Yeah.
I've watched enough X-Files to know if there's aliens, they're buried in the ice.
Right. And recently, Reddit told me this. No, New Scientist magazine told me this. They've found creatures where they didn't think, in a place they didn't think was inhabitable, and it's underneath ice sheets, like on a cliff.
Now, we use this to set the bounds on life in the solar system. So every time we find something that lives in some crazy extreme environment, we're like, oh, okay, well, if they can live there, then they could live in these other places in the solar system. So researching what we call extremophiles allows us to understand the limits of life, which is super, super cool, right?
And extremophiles are just creatures that can live in temperatures that we deem extreme.
Yeah, anything extreme.
Okay.
So anything that's the bounds, that nothing lives colder, nothing lives hotter, nothing lives in more salty.
Right.
So there's pH, so
pH
acid and bases, there's heat. What else?
So salty has to do with pH, doesn't it?
No, salt. That's related, but not quite. So
Okay.
salty is actually one that kills a lot of stuff. It's why we use salt to preserve a lot of foods. Beef jerky keeps it out because it's super salty. Low available water, radiation is another one.
Okay.
So there's actual organisms, Deinococcus radiodurans. In fact, Sebastian sequenced and compiled the genome for a relative of Deinococcus, which was Deinococcus radiophilus, maybe. But there's one that lives inside a nuclear reactor. They have to put antibiotics in the water to kill the bacteria, because inside a nuclear reactor, one of the most inhospitable places on Earth, there are bacteria living.
Wow.
Well, not bacteria, an archaea, very similar to a bacterium.
Okay. Are they smaller? Are they just different?
Different.
Just different.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're single-celled organisms.
Okay.
Yeah. But so bacteria generally create walls to keep the environment out. Archaea are like they're not like the Trumps. The Trumps would be the bacteria. The archaea would be maybe like Japanese, right? They modify their culture to align with the culture outside. So that what they do is they try and, if it's salty outside, they modify their internal chemistry to be more salty.
Okay.
If it's a higher pH outside, they make higher pH on the inside.
They modify. They're adaptive.
Evolving. Yeah. Adapting is evolution. So yeah. Now, so you didn't ever tell me which cities. Hold on, I'm going to do a quick search of cities with a population of 500,000, and you can tell me who we're going to work out.
I have to choose people to kill. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, I'd be a terrible world leader because I'd be like,
you make the hard decisions.
Oh, okay. What criteria are we using? Hold on. Wait, let me just sidetrack and just jump into the comments.
We got what's that?
We got lizard people will rise again.
Damn.
You never know.
Are we glitching? How is the live stream? Have we got glitching? Okay, so we're just going through which comments do we go?
I really like that some of these comments are addressing what we're talking about, and then some are just totally.
Yeah. The solar system. Yeah.
That is my belief.
What is happening? No, we're back.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is our little. So this is our second time streaming. So
yeah, every time it gets better, you guys. Every time the lighting, the sound, the stream, the internet will get better.
We should be like, I was going to check something, which is I should have tons of memory. Yeah, I've got tons of memory. Oh, 100% CPU. No, we're fine.
Cool.
We should be okay. If you can see me, it's just a one-way thing, right? So,
Sam Webb, you're very funny.
Shout out to Sam. Sam is tuning in from Tasmania. I'm going to see what population Hobart has.
Okay. Is there like a tribe of people who'll just volunteer themselves and they can just take the decision from my hands?
How many? Okay, I'm gonna ask this.
I know. I'm choosing to kill everyone that's moments away from death. So I'm just gonna take like 5 seconds off their life.
Really?
So everyone that's just, can I just like Death Note?
Yeah.
Choose everyone who's just in hospitals, like breathing their last breaths. I'm just gonna take maybe a few minutes, maybe a half hour of their life, and just 500,000.
How about this? I'm gonna kill everyone that will create the largest burden on the healthcare system. Ooh. So that I actually extend everybody's life, even those who are about to die, but I increase the total minutes of quality life lived. That's better than your one, I think.
No, because I feel I have a connection. I know some people who are a big burden on the healthcare system, and their life is very valuable to me. I can see why. I can see how you came to that. Yeah. But I think I still have that emotional connection to those people. They still have value to me. So I'm going to stick to the last. Okay. Cut some minutes of people dying.
I'll do all those people except for people that Lucy knows. How's that sound? Is that sounds good?
Compromise. Amazing. World leaders.
This is what we need. Just everyone's saved. Okay.
Wow, ethics class. Oh, your daughter finds this entertaining. Oh, that's super cool.
That's
Thank
good.
you, Millie Caffrey, and hi to your daughter.
So we could kill everyone in the ACT. Okay. How many?
Terrible question for your daughter to hear. I'm sorry.
Well, maybe we just kill everyone under 2.
Oh,
I haven't gotten started yet. I don't know.
Because
I have to do my stats.
Yet.
How many people live in Hobart? Just get a guess.
Oh man, I'm the worst at this. Numbers. Ooh.
Yeah, take a guess. So 426,000 live in Canberra.
Okay.
Hobart, more or less?
More. No, 300,000.
Less.
200,000.
Close.
Yeah.
236,000.
Wow,
So
okay.
So anyway, imagine. It's probably like a third of Tasmania killed. Is the equivalent of what's happened in the States, which is actually really sad, right? And they could fix it, right? It's unnecessary.
Okay, I'm sorry. I tuned out of what you were saying because Tom Nash commented, "Thanks, Lucy. If Meow ruled Australia, I'd be dead."
Oh fuck!
I'm sorry. I just tuned out.
The weight of my actions. Fuck. Not Tom either. I'm just gonna write. Maybe just write a list of like my Facebook friends who all survived. That's 5,000.
Maybe. Look, it's a difficult one as well because people with chronic illness, living in a capitalist society, our worth is really placed on our productivity and how productive we can be. So when you get a chronic illness and you can't work the same way that you did before, you feel yourself, okay, well, so I just have no value. I'm worthless. And it's really a journey of finding your value without those societal expectations. And I think that everyone out there who's sick or who has serious injuries, or you might one day get really sick, or something might happen, or you might get COVID and have long COVID and never really recover. You absolutely still have value.
Well, I think it's a big question about what is value, right? Because like Peter Singer loves to do this with ethical altruism, right? Like let's take the quality adjusted life hours. It's actually how they do triage now. This is a big thing actually in Italy. They're like, we're not going to save the old people when they come in with COVID. Yeah. We're going to free up the beds and kind of let nature take its course. It's like, okay, well, what about that old person? Is it really valuable to society?
And I think, some people can think, oh, old people, we don't need them. But then when you get old, it's like, oh, okay.
No, but I'm important, right? Like, that's what you think when you're there. So, and I think this is this big thing. I think, you know what? My triage would be this. Did you watch Married at First Sight? And if you watched it, you're out. Straight out back, you don't get saved.
I understand that people are critical of people who watch reality TV shows like Married at First Sight and The Bachelor. Yeah. But I think that this life, we're all creating meaning for things all the time. Yeah. So if you're enjoying something that, like those shows, hold on, just close that door. There's a dog barking. I think if you're enjoying something like that, you're giving it meaning yourself, and if you're having enjoyment out of that, I think that's okay.
People that have ever applied to be on Married at First Sight. What about them? There's going to be something we can all agree on. That you should just wipe them out.
Okay, so one factor that just sort of categorizes everyone we don't like into a pile, and then we get rid of them. Okay, all right. Well, what's the factor? And in fact, I'd love to see some comments about this.
So we got Einstein by giving value to refugees, which is a really fantastic point. So in Australia, part of the reason we've escaped COVID is we've got no land borders with any other countries, which is very important, right? Because all our cases are coming in via planes. We've got low population density. In fact, we're underpopulated. We could actually have, probably 10 times as many people in Australia and still be able to support it. So we're in a unique position to take refugees. So and they're generally considered like, not as valuable as people that are born here. And we see this because we have the White Australia, well, what do we call it now? Baby bonus. We don't call it White Australia policy.
Okay.
We call it baby
bonus. That's the monetary sort of like bonus you get if you have a child.
Well, we got rid of the White Australia policy. We're trying to make Australia white.
Right. Oh, okay, I get you now. So you're saying that the baby bonus is the White Australia policy because it's just encouraging Australia, who's predominantly white, to have more kids. No way. Okay,
we need to increase the population of Australia. Well, why don't we just take refugees and immigrants?
Yeah, we've got enough space.
We can't do it. We'd rather have the baby bonus.
Okay.
Which is the non-racist way of making more white people.
I see your point.
Someone said this to me, I was just like, oh, holy shit, of course that's what it is. Yeah.
Let's jump into the comments because what was your factor that categorized people who don't return? Because that's an ethical question, isn't it, Jim Bob Fuller? The whole shopping cart ethical question. Being, if I remember, do you remember this?
Do you return the shopping cart?
So the idea is that the people who return the shopping cart, this is not something that anyone's asking you to do. There's no pressure for you to do it. So it's something you just do out of kindness.
No consequences,
right? So no good or bad consequences for you not returning the shopping cart. So the ethical question for the shopping cart theory is that if you do return the shopping cart, you are a good person. And then if you don't, you're a bad person.
Maybe when you die and they decide you just like as if in a dream, and there's just corral or whatever, and this you get there.
Do you, before this question, knowing this question, do you return the shop cart?
Almost always, except at Campsie shops, they're your place, so you have to walk all the way back to the shopping center, and I'm like, nah, fuck that. If you can't put somewhere for me to put the cart, I will just put it somewhere that's not going to hurt anyone.
And I'm thinking, for me, I want to be honest and say, so I do return the shopping cart, but if I'm in a really big rush, maybe I wouldn't.
Yeah, I would say if it was too inconvenient, I would just not care.
Yeah. It's a really interesting question. Are we bad people?
That's we shouldn't ask the internet.
I know they're going to say we are. Okay.
Okay, this is a good point, right? So when I first used to go to McDonald's, my dad would say, leave some mess. If you're too tidy, you get rid of jobs.
Ooh.
Right? So by being a little bit messy, you actually create employment. And in America, this is huge because their entire country runs on tips for the service industry for lowly and all this stuff. Here in Australia, we don't hire service industry. Like in America, there's people in the toilets that put soap on their hands and stuff. I'm like, why are you here watching me go to the toilet? But it's because they need to create jobs because they don't have many socialized services.
Right. How do you feel about that? Do you think it's a mess to give someone a job?
I think we should. I'm like full on fucking lefty, right? I'm like robots should do everything. We should never have to worry about creating mess because robots should clean it up. As a crumb falls from my mouth, as they frequently do, because I'm a crummy person. As crumbs fall out, robots should be just sweeping it away. And then workers who've been put out of work by robots should form unions where they buy the robots and then their profits from that get taxed.
Okay, so you've got a whole system worked out, for sure. What is my purpose?
Yeah,
to spread butter.
That's right. And also this week, one of my friends, Justin, who does the Thought Emporium, a YouTube channel, announced that he's made a neural net, and I don't fully understand this. It may be actual neurons that can process passing butter, or the concept of passing butter, and then reflect on its own existence. Ooh. So I'm very excited to see what this is. I'm
not sure how that will work.
Hopefully next week we can do a review.
Yeah. Like I know anything about neural networks, but I'm not sure how that would work.
I'm in the dark too. We'll see how it goes.
All right.
I'm right-handed. What's going on here? We're watching Jason. What are we watching? We're just doing a roundup of the last week because we
Yeah.
both wanted to do some live streaming.
We did want to do some live streaming, and we needed to fill you guys in on the news because in Australia you certainly weren't able to access it.
Well, but next week you may be able to, and then we'll be back at square one.
Totally. But if you can't, it's okay because you can just tune into our stream.
So we've got a request, a private request.
Oh, cool.
So
okay.
for those of you who don't know, Lucy is the bridge between Australia and China.
That's a big claim, and I love it.
Okay, so you've been asked. Sarah says hello, my partner, and she also asked if you can sing for us because you sing, right? Can you sing our Yamcha order?
Sing your Yamcha order, okay?
Do you like Yamcha?
Yeah.
What's your favorite dish in Yamcha?
Oh, okay. I have to think about it. I'm just going through the menu. I'm going through the catalog. What do I love? I really like. Look, I like pork bun. I know that's.
Really
simple,
which one? But there's more than one.
The fluffy pork bun.
Char siu so is better than the regular one because the char siu so is the one which is the puff pastry with the sesame seeds on top and it's glazed, right?
This
one's tastier. You have to learn it because I'm from Campsie, which is like 80% mainland Chinese, right, in Sydney. I was fighting white flight to move to the Chinese suburbs and then integrate with their culture, right? But none of the Yamcha people speak any English. So when I try and describe my dish, they don't know what I'm talking about. I'm like, I want the little football thing. And they're like, what's a football?
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, I just have to learn the names of the dishes, right?
Right. You're talking about dumpling?
Hum soi gok.
Oh, okay. So that's Cantonese. So I speak a little bit of Mandarin, not a lot. I lived in China for 1 year, but I've forgotten.
What's your best phrase? What's your best Mandarin phrase?
My best phrase?
What you like the most?
Oh, okay. I love being on the spot. I'm really good at it. That's a lie. Okay. So, 好久不见, which is like, I say that all the time, and I'm saying that with the wrong tones right now, but I
can do worse. 好久不见.
好久.
好久.
Sorry, 好. Remember the tone. So we got third tone. I think we got third tone right. So it's 好久.
Can you just auto tune this? Go the last bit. What's the last bit?
Oh, 见. And that's basically long time no see. And I love saying that every time I see Chinese people because they laugh. They're like, oh, long time no see. Yeah. Oh, let's jump back into the comments for a second. Let me know your Yamcha order.
Okay.
And I'll sing it for you.
Okay. Can you write it in Chinese?
Oh, okay. Yeah. And also commenters too.
Or write down. Okay. So what do we got? We got. And if you have a Yamcha dish that you know the name of, or you can describe, chuck it in the comments. And we'll add it to this. So we got Hum Soi Gok.
I'll put it into a Chinese traditional song and I'll sing it for you.
We'll see how bad my pronunciation. Hum Soi Gok.
Okay, I've got to.
You can look it up too if you need.
Because that's in Cantonese and that's not familiar.
Oh, well, okay. And then we're gonna talk Bitcoin in a sec.
Oh, we're gonna talk Bitcoin. Oh, that's exciting. That's more exciting.
Okay, so we got Hum Soi Gok. Ha Gao.
Oh, this is all Canto. Yeah.
Is it all Canto?
So Hum Soi Gok fried glutinous rice dumplings.
What is it? So it looks like a football and it's delicious.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
What do you call it?
So hold on.
What are you doing?
Just grabbing the characters for it. All right. So, 咸水, which is salt water.
Yeah.
饺.
What's
咸水饺? Now that has a few different meanings.
Holy moly.
I think here it just means like the piece. The piece. Like a dumpling.
It should say football. Xiaolongbao, yes.
Yeah, xiaolongbao. Oh my god.
Xiaolongbao.
Yeah, is it Yamcha? I'm actually not sure if it's called.
So how do you get the soup in the dumpling?
That's also really famous, that dish in Shanghai.
And did you spend time in Shanghai?
I spent 1 year in Shanghai.
Yeah. Xiaolongbao's good because it's soup dumplings, right?
Yes, and
how do you get the soup in the dumpling?
But what's great is when I would take my friends, what my family would arrive in Shanghai to visit me, I would take them to have xiaolongbao, the soup dumpling, and it was great because it's really boiling hot soup inside, and so if you didn't tell them, they'd take a bite and they'd be like, ah! So that was enjoyable. Have you experienced that, Peter Atkinson? Having really like hot boiling dumpling water in your mouth? Best thing ever. Yeah, so good.
And it's really tasty as well. It's not just like your ordinary soup. It's like delicious pork soup or something.
Totally. have we got?
Let's go.
Okay, sorry. All right, we're getting some demands for crypto right
Okay.
here.
Super quick. Crypto. What do we? Oh, I just realized I've got to charge my phone.
Let's go to this phone.
So
No worries.
what do you know about crypto this week? What have we seen? Bitcoin is over.
Ooh, what
When was
amount?
the last you saw?
Ooh, let me look it up.
$75,000. Right?
Who here has Bitcoin? I'm just curious if anyone.
We just saw a little meme.
Yeah.
It was like kids playing a little
it was a
video
competition for one of those fantasy games a while back, and it was like first prize $500, second prize $400, third prize $300, and then anything after that was 25 Bitcoin. Imagine getting that. But then you probably think, oh, it's worthless. Peter Atkinson, a family friend who's Chinese from China, took me to a Chinese restaurant in Chatswood and warned me that I should always take a bit of the dumpling and let some of the soup drain out in case it was boiling. Oh, your friend took good care of you. I would have just left it as a surprise. But that's a quintessential Chinese experience, I think. But no, I'm glad that they didn't shock you too much. All right.
Okay, Bitcoin. So what does Bitcoin mean to you? It's just like
one of the first cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Which is also why I think it has had the potential for the most value.
Mm-hmm.
What else does it mean? It's generally inaccessible if you don't have a bit of tech know-how in terms of like buying a crypto wallet or something.
Is it real money? Is it like real?
Well, look, I think generally money, like a lot of money is just points on the internet in your bank. So why is it, any different if it's just more points on the internet?
I agree. In fact, Elon Musk echoed this sentiment this week. So he said, it's the only thing more ridiculous than crypto is fiat currency. It's like real money, right? Real money.
Right.
So he's like, it was like, big news. And he also tweeted today, he's been tweeting about Dogecoin. So you've seen Doge.
Yes, I know about Dogecoin, yeah.
The world's first meme-based currency. So I actually teach using Doge. I generally buy 50,000 Dogecoins at a time.
Oh, okay. How much does 50,000 cost?
It used to cost me like $10. Now I couldn't afford 50,000 Dogecoins. I've given it away in all of my classes. So if you've been to one of my classes and you have thousands of Dogecoins, remember me when you make it rich and famous.
Oh, and don't forget to hold.
Hodl. You do.
Hodl?
It's
What's hodl?
Basically in the early days of crypto.
Yeah.
Somebody said that it's about if you believe in crypto, you don't sell it when it gets a lot of money.
Yeah.
You hold it, and they made a spelling mistake because they were drunkenly ranting. So you hodl, HODL, and people see people wearing the shirts HODL.
Okay.
I'm all about the bioweapons, so I'm not hodling. I'm a biosecurity hazard. Nathan Waters is Bitcoin speculation. Dumber than boomer housing speculation, but with less homelessness. That's bold and controversial.
I know how you feel about housing, Nathan Waters. So I can see where your point comes from.
So I think that the true value of Bitcoin is zero. Because it's not backed by anything, right? So fiat currency, like the Australian dollar, it's kind of backed by like everyone, what the total value of the Australian economy is, right?
Right, okay.
So the work we do in a year and the value of all the assets of all the Australian people should equal the dollar.
Okay.
If it's less, people will buy it. If it's more, people will sell it. So the market should kind of make an Australian dollar worth what Australia's worth as a country. But Bitcoin, it's not backed by anything.
Yeah, but doesn't it gain value when you can start using it for services?
It gains value when people decide it has value.
Okay. Yeah, because then they're saying that you can use it for services.
That's
okay,
right.
So
services determine the value of it, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Capped inflation.
Hodl.
Yeah. So capped inflation, good or bad? Okay. So when we're thinking about inflation, right, we're thinking about money. When you print money, you can inflate or deflate. You're always going to be inflating the currency. So you can determine there's a whole heap of different ways. You can cap inflation. So you can basically, should we artificially control the value of money? And in Bitcoin or the Australian dollar. So in 1991, Paul Keating, we used to control the value of a dollar. We'd say like, this is the value of a dollar. China controls the value of its currency. So it keeps it deflated, which is what makes it attractive for exports. So they keep the value of their dollars low to increase people to buy their stuff.
Okay.
So China would be an example of capped inflation, right? Example of that.
Okay.
And in Australia, we let the market decide. Do you think it's a good or a bad idea to cap how much money you make? What do you
Cap
reckon?
how much money you make.
Or cap the should people or should countries control the amount that a dollar is worth? It's a tricky one, right?
Yeah.
You've been in China. What was it like over there? What was the general quality of life like?
It was really good. Actually, it was really Chinese people say 很方便, which means super convenient. But hey,
I don't think this is working.
Yeah.
Oh, it's coming out of here. I don't know if the microphone is selected here though. Hold on. Hello. See, I don't think it.
Yeah, I think you're right. So that microphone
frozen.
isn't working.
There we go.
Thank you, Tom.
Are we back? Okay, so you're saying you can order on a so is it the Chinese Amazon? Is that right?
I ordered this 3D moon from Taobao, which is so it's like Chinese Amazon. It's really cool. You could, in this lighting, you can't really tell. I wanted to have it in the video. Okay, so we're just talking.
Is there a Chinese Jeff Bezos?
Oh,
Jack
Ma, who's recently had to step down. They've sort of changed over leadership. So blah blah blah. So life in China, what's it like? How's standard of living? So everything is so convenient. I missed bread, but bread isn't really the type of like Western sourdough bread that I wanted. Isn't really a standard in China. So I would order it from a bakery and it would arrive at my door, like warm out of the oven in an hour.
How do you even get like from phone to like bread? Like, is it like Uber Eats?
So it's quite amazing. So
On a live stream. Okay, there you go. Sorry for the delay.
Yeah.
So you're saying so you can get bread delivered in an hour.
Yes, you can. Everything. Yeah. So you really never really need to leave your place, which is actually why when they had COVID-19 lockdown in China, it was generally fine because everyone could stay in their place and all their needs could be met because everything's delivered to you. And I really want to say they're so far ahead of us in terms of payment and using money. You can use WeChat Pay or Alipay, and you just you buy a drink at the bar and you're like ding, everything.
Can you shout friends?
Yeah, you can shout friends. Yeah,
like if you want to buy a round of drinks. How does
yeah,
that work?
of course. Oh, you just pay
like...
for it like you would pay for it with cash, but you're just using your phone. So I guess the only issue is that your phone always has to be charged. What
happens if you lose your phone? Are you like persona non grata?
Yeah,
you just disappear?
That's an issue. Yeah, you really are your phone. But it was great. I never had to carry around money with me or my wallet or anything. All I had to go, like if I wanted to go on the train, all I had to do was use my phone. If I wanted to go buy something, if I wanted to have a meal, if I wanted to go to karaoke, all you need is your phone. It's your ticket to everywhere. And I think and you can use it, like the OFO bikes. Again, you just use the same app. It's like a central app that you use for everything, which is WeChat.
Is it government owned, WeChat?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's
socialized social media.
Yeah, and
could you get the news?
You can get the news. You can get Chinese news.
Okay. So it's actually better than no news, which is what we've got on Facebook at the moment.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. Absolutely. But I really thought coming back to Australia, like no offense to Australia, but I just felt like I was coming back to this tropical retirement island where people still use like card and people still use cash, like credit cards. They're so old. Like why do we still use those?
This is what I feel when I go to America.
Yeah.
Because Americans don't have tap and pay.
Right.
Do you know why?
Why?
Tipping culture.
Oh, the tipping culture.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, every transaction takes fucking 10 years because you have to. Oh, okay. Okay. So we'll do it now. Okay.
Calculate.
Come buy a coffee from me. This is how it goes.
Oh, okay.
Hi, welcome to Meowbox. What would you like?
Meowbox.
Yeah.
My name is Lucille, and I know you're gonna spell that wrong. It's with a seal, like S-E-A-L, Lucille. Can I have a frappe macchiato latte?
Frappe macchiato latte. Okay. So would you like cream with that?
Cream? What's cream?
Run America. Cream.
Yeah. Can I have
cream? Extra cream.
Extra cream.
Okay. Now I flip around a screen, right? Because we're in a high-tech San Francisco bar.
All right.
Cafe.
Yeah.
Okay. $4.23.
Now
I need you to click to say you accept that that's the cost. So click.
Why?
Okay. Now I need you to add the tip. The screen won't let you progress unless you add the tip. So now you have to decide how much you're going to tip. $4.23.
And that's so awkward when you're in front of the person.
Looking at you.
Oh, okay.
What's 10% of $4.23?
4.2.
What's 15%? Because 15% is a minimum. If you do less than 15%, you're a bad person.
Less than 15%, you're a bad person.
Definitely.
Forget the shopping trolley ethics situation. You're just a bad person. Okay.
And there might have an automated button where it might start at 20% if you don't want to do the calculation in your head. Okay. So you can click it, but it only lets you start at 20% if you don't do the calculations in your head.
Oh, okay. All right.
So you just round up to the nearest dollar.
I've just given you like $4 extra.
There you go. Oh, you're generous. Okay, so now you can't tap and pay. Now you have to sign.
Oh.
Get your COVID-infested finger and touch the screen.
My COVID-infested finger.
There you go.
There we go. All right.
There's your transaction.
Wow.
That's how long it takes you to order a coffee.
I am
tired. Every time, right? So that's why they don't use cards over there. Everyone uses cash because it's just way easier, right? You just go $5 keep the change.
I see. I get that now. That makes more sense now.
It does until you end up carrying huge wads of cash because the thing is, they want you to tip with low numbers. So if you say for example the coffee was $15, right?
Yeah.
And you give me a 20. What change would I give you back?
In
what denominations of bills would you expect me to give you change?
$5?
No.
What?
5 ones.
Oh.
It's
So
like,
everyone's like got packed wallets all the time.
yeah, which is cool. No, because then you give it away in tips because you've got so much so many $1 bills. You get rid of them, you give them away just to get rid of them. And technically, there's nothing wrong with the service industry doing this. But the thing is, it's like, how can we make every transaction as inconvenient as possible? It's
Really?
literally reverse China. What's that?
Yeah.
What's that saying?
Reverse China?
How convenient? What was it?
Oh, 很方便.
方便.
很方便. Yeah. Yeah.
Does that in America?
Yeah, and it's Australia too. We're not like, wow, that service was great. It was so convenient. I don't know. We don't say that.
Is it worth letting the government like take control of everything? Just, you know what? If I was continually saying how convenient every single day, super convenient.
What a life! Imagine having an incredibly convenient life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also want to say as well, with China's high population, it also makes things really fast. So, you know, you've got your things, your items have been scanned, and you're just like ding, and it's a second, and you are out of there. Also, it's helpful for foreigners, for Waiguoren like myself.
Because
Waiguoren, so foreigners.
is that bad? Is that a bad term?
Y is like outsider, guo, country, and then ren, which is person, people. Or you can say lao wai, but
is that the bad term?
No, but both are used.
Okay.
Anyway, so actually you don't talk to people that much. People are handing. There's also not really a culture of everyone talking to everyone as, but it's really fast. It's really convenient.
When you go to stores with Chinese staff in Australia, they don't really make any effort to like be nice to the customers, which I find authentic. They kind of hate their jobs, and they're like, yeah, whatever, I'm scanning your shit. I'm not going to pretend like I actually like to serve you because this job sucks. And I'm like, good. I don't want you to pretend like you're happy to be here scanning my items. I want you to just do your job, and I go, and that's an authentic exchange, right? Whereas in America, there's this like hyper conviviality, or is that the right word? Like they're like, oh, hello, madam, how is it today? I'm so glad to see you. This person is not. They're just happy to have a job.
Thank you, ma'am.
And it's just so fake that I
feel like every week, like you like hate on America.
There's a lot of things I love about America, right? But I like we're in this unique position because we're culturally like America. Like the majority of Australians culturally like America, but like we're in Asia, right?
Right.
Like Israel in the middle of the Middle East. And we also stole our yeah, sweet.
And so what I'm thinking about what you're saying as well, with people being authentic and just not really trying to charm you as they do their job, it sounds like a situation primed for introverts and people with social anxiety. And I'm now just imagining someone with really bad social anxiety in America having people being like, how are you doing today, man? And you're like,
because in Australia, we're actually, I didn't realize, we're a country of introverts.
Are we really?
Have you been to America?
I feel like we're both extroverts.
We are definitely. When you go to America, it's like the whole, like, people walking down the street with boomboxes and they're like, strike up a conversation with you on the street.
Yeah.
On an hourly basis.
Yeah.
You stop at the lights and people just start talking to you.
Yeah, that's happening.
There's a security guard sitting out in front of the bank saying hello to every single person and starting conversation. Like it's crazy. It's a country of extroverts. Australia is introverted. Like all of us. Like no one speaks on the train. There's no one talking. In an average day in San Francisco, there's like people just sparking up random conversations. If I wore a shirt like this, someone would be saying, "Oh, are you spreading the coronavirus?" or something. You know, they're just like, But it's got a charm of its own. But you know, it's the opposite of China in the sense it's like anti-authoritarian, right? And during a pandemic, you probably want an authoritarian response. You want the government to take control, lock people in their houses. Otherwise, you have 500,000 dead people, unfortunately. But America's Constitution says like we all have the right to kind of like govern ourselves, and they came out of being ruled by the King of England and saying, well, maybe if we all just like let each other do our own thing, we'll make a better country. And that's worked pretty well for a while.
But then a disaster like COVID-19 happens, and then the response, it just really shows the difference between the approaches of different countries. Let's jump into the comments again. Is Alibaba equivalent to Amazon over there? Yes, absolutely. Sadly, I want to live in China. I promise it's such a cool experience. Tipping culture is the worst thing ever. Look, maybe
we'll just let them work for free. Now it's like, oh, well, instead of black, it's actually the worst thing ever.
Okay, right. 10% is considered minimum.
Yeah, and taxes. So here, we just like when you go to when you go to a restaurant, you just pay the bill. I like, oh, look at my $20.
I know.
Oh fuck, I forgot taxes.
Yeah.
And then the tip, but then it's not $20 anymore. It's like $40 or $60. You're like,
you're seeing the price, and you're like, I'm sold on the price, and then you go to the counter.
What is it like in China? Actually, is the price that prices on things? Because I heard that like if you're white over there, they'll actually try and rip you off a little bit. At restaurants and things, you go and they'll be like a different price.
No, that's not the case actually. Only at sort of bartering markets, so where you actually there is no set price. But I found I was actually treated really fairly. I was always given the same price as everyone else.
Or do you just think that?
Is that just what I thought?
Yeah, I was going to try it because my mate would say when he got a dish in China, he wouldn't even look at the bill. He would just look at them. He wouldn't look at them. Mid-conversation, he'd be like, "Don't cheat me. Don't cheat me," was his first thing. And when it comes back, he'd look at it and he'd say, "I'm friends with the police." Ooh. And then whatever it was the third time, he'd pay it.
What year did he go? I'm just curious.
I don't know.
Because I'm wondering as well with the change to paying with everything on your phone as well. I'm wondering if that's made a difference. There is this famous scam in China called T scam, where people will come up to you at tourist sites and they will take your photo. Oh, cool. Can you take a photo of me? I'm learning English. Do you want to have a chat? I can walk you over to this site over here. And people are like, cool, I'm just a friend. And you know, I don't speak Chinese, but this person speaks English, so I can make a Chinese friend. And generally, everyone like it works on everyone. But then they'll take you to a tea house where you'll have a meal together. And they'll give you some tea, and then they'll give you a super high price bill at the end of it. And even my dad fell for this, and so then it's super inflated that they won't show you the correct menu, and you just sort of feel like a social pressure to pay it. You're like, are they going to call the police if I don't pay it? And also maybe you don't really know the monetary value, but this is a super common scam.
I think this is in a lot of Asian countries. Something similar. Like I had mates in Vietnam and they got taken, come back to my parents' house for dinner or something. And at the end they're like, it's customary for you to pay us. We'll call the police if you don't, and all this stuff. It's like,
right. And you get scared. You're just a tourist. But in general, I was always really treated fairly in terms of money in China. Yeah.
It's your Twitch URL. So we're streaming under Lucy's Twitch.
Yeah, so URL. I'll just write it down. I'm just LUSH_ESS, which is my music artistic name. Let me just put it
It's someone's job to make them $1 bills. That's true. The money stuff's true because it's all the same color and size. So American money is very confusing. Lush.
Everyone, this is my Twitch. If you follow Meow and I stream from this every Tuesday. Let me just put it right up there.
There we go.
Cool. Yeah, I have a funny story about this artist name. Maybe it's only funny to me, but I did like a music camp years ago. It was called Music Entrepreneurship, and in one of the classes we had to choose our artist names. And I've been a muso for a while, and I had a band called Hustle Mama.
Hustle Mama.
And we were a soul funk band. We had a great time.
You were a singer in this band?
Yes.
Give us a bar. What's Hustle Mama's song? Is it Hustle with a dollar sign?
It should have been. What was one of our songs?
Soul funk.
I was like,
Slim?
tear the sheets up, give it like you mean it. Yeah, you know just how to do, so do it like you do it. It was like really,
yeah.
It was naughty.
I feel like I need some whiskey in a speakeasy.
That was definitely the vibe that we hoped for. Anyway, so we had a day where we chose our music names, and we had a group of people all choosing their artistic names because I wanted to be a solo artist. And my original name I chose was LUSH.S because my friend told me that was cool, so it was Luscious.
There was that famous streamer. What was he? Tosh.0 or something.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, she was like, "This is cool." But then one day we did a gig, and it was like the act before the main act. I think it was for Tucker, and the Australian rapper. and so I got called up onto the stage by my mentor at the time, and she's like, cool, I'm gonna bring some ladies up and we're just gonna jam and sing for you guys. And she's like, get up here, Luscious. And I like walked onto the stage and I had an existential moment in front of like hundreds of people as I walked up there going, I'm Luscious. What is Luscious? What does Luscious do? Who is Luscious? What does Luscious embody? And I realized, I was like, well, I've created this character, but like, who is Luscious? And so honestly, it was so weird. I was like, concentrate and do the song. But I was also like, but what? And I was like, I was embarrassed. I was like, what was Luscious meant to act like? Anyway.
Were you embarrassed or was Luscious embarrassed?
Oh, that's the question. I think maybe Luscious was embarrassed. Anyway.
Here's the veil. Maybe Luscious is the least anxious person in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, we did the gig and it was really fun. But I just remember thinking, like, this is the worst time to have an existential crisis, like, in front of all these people.
Maybe it's the only way. Maybe that like forces it, right?
Right.
It's like what is it, like pressure creates diamonds, right?
I love that. Yeah. But I was really just like, oh, can I own the name Luscious? Anyway, it was all a silly thing that just happened in my head, but it was really funny.
Here we are.
I enjoyed that.
All these years later. I think with these names though, can you give them to yourself? Like, well, I obviously have given myself a ridiculous name.
True.
But I feel like with a musician, it's like should be bestowed upon you, like a transgenerational thing, right? Like for Hustle Mama, you know, some big jazz legend should come down and be like, you look pretty lush. You're mush-esque. You know what I mean? It should be this like, it should create like a chain of unbroken from like, Sith Lord to apprentice, right?
Sith Lord to apprentice.
That's it.
Bestowed upon you. Oh, look, I'm sure that's a really cool way to get a cool name. Does anyone here have like a cool DJ name, like music name, artist name that they use? I mean, I could have just used my name, Lucy Jacklax, but I wanted to use it so I could sort of make that my musical persona. Yeah.
Separate it too, to fully embrace the persona. When I changed my name, I think I actually became a different person.
Really? How so? I think we're all curious about this. Tell us more.
Oh, really? So I changed my name when I was 20, like pretty much on a whim, we'll just say. And then, like, I think people treated me a bit differently. Like, oh, you're more exciting or you're more interesting. But then maybe I like have something that I have to live up to. So I start like embracing the novelty.
You have to live up to the Luscious. You have to live up to the Meow.
Like, what does Luscious do? What is Luscious nervous on stage or whatever? So you have to kind of do it. And I think I became like more novelty driven and embrace some of the aspects of the name by doing it.
What do you mean novelty?
So basically when I introduced myself with my old name, I would just say it and people were like, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I'm a whatever person. But if I'm like, oh, Meow, they're like, oh, you're exciting, you're novel, that's a name I've never heard before. What else is unusual about you, right? So then they're prying for that, but then that becomes the thing I talk about all the time. So it ends up being like all the things which are unique about me, people try and pry out because they know there's already like a bridge to those other unique things, right?
You've already revealed your uniqueness through your name choice.
That's right.
So they're like, what else lies within?
Yeah, what else, do you like cats? Or, all these things, it gives them lots of talking points that they can like latch onto. Because when you first meet someone, you're trying to like work out like what connects you to that's unique. Right?
You're peacocking with your name. Do you know like peacocking?
Yeah.
It's like the term that means like you wear something like crazy, like this crazy hat or something, which is a conversation piece for people to start talking to you. So really, you're inviting people to engage with you through your name.
There we go. And it's So
do you feel that you've embraced this change?
Well, it's been so long now. I take joy out of like downplaying it. So like just now, this is moving right
along. Come on, whatever.
Here we go. We got a comment.
Oh, that's the name of Elon Musk.
How do you pronounce it? So what do you got?
Oh,
what's this?
X.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So in Chinese, that's. So I'm going.
How would we pronounce it in Chinese? Because in Greek, that's Kyle.
Is that Kyle?
X is Kai, right?
Kyle is like such an average name. It's like Kyle.
That's it. Someone said this to Elon Musk, like, how is X Ash A13? And he's like, what? And they're like, your kid. And he's like, oh yeah, go on, he's good.
She, she. I don't know. That's probably how I'd say it.
Maybe he knows China's going to take over, so he just named his kid something that was like acceptable.
Let's jump into the comments. What are we talking about, Dark Rider? I think we've just been conversation and topic hopping because Meow and I get really carried away. And he's like a treasure trove of information.
As we've both got all this knowledge. So we love talking because we always have so much to share and so much, novel facts and all this information. So, and we both love streaming. So we've decided we're going to do this. And we're going to do this every week. So this is the second month of pandemic year 2. We're going to aim to be every Tuesday from what do you say, 7:30?
Yeah, 7:30 to 8:30. What time is it? Oh, it's 8:40, so maybe till 9.
Yeah. We're going to talk and
we're going to talk about current news and events and trends and topics.
China and Australia.
China and Australia.
We both love talking about.
Yeah, and I love it. Yeah. I feel like science is always going to be. But you have so many friends who are in such interesting lines of work that I feel like that's something people are always interested to hear about.
We got an award. We've just had 100 messages in Restream chat.
Amazing. Thank you guys. Thanks for just engaging.
Asked you about your last meal. The world was ending. So Tom interviewed me and asked me what my last meal would be. I think I stumbled. I had a whole of crazy answers. He wants to ask, what would your last meal be?
Mine.
Yeah.
It'd have to be my so I'm half my family's Polish, so my babcia is my grandma, and it would be one of her meals that she makes. So traditional Polish food. Yeah.
Now Polish people have dumplings, don't they?
They have pierogi, which is a type of dumpling. Yeah.
You know, if every fucking country has a dumpling.
What's Australia's dumpling?
Meat pie.
Australia's dumpling is meat pie.
At some point, every culture has said, you know what's better than meat? Meat wrapped in bread.
Meat wrapped in bread.
Right?
Or whatever carb it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
name a country that doesn't have a dumpling.
Nepal. No, you have dumplings.
Yeah. This is true. And like Italy's like ravioli.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Mexicans.
Oh, what's
like
Mexican
burrito
one?
is like kind of like a dumpling, right? Like
It's
everyone said bread plus meat. That's it. So you said some Polish dish, but you didn't pick.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because we also have to then fight to the death over whose food is better.
Oh, okay, cool. I didn't bring my weapon today. I'm really sorry. My chosen weapon is a mace. So maybe we'll fight it out next week. Yeah. Okay. So I'd say it's my grandma's food. It's like a Polish rissole, and then it's sauerkraut because that's so good for the gut. Even though I'm about to die, we've got to get that sauerkraut in there for that gut health.
That's it.
And
start the decomposition process, right?
Shadwa mleko, which is actually like kefir.
Which kefir is like a
probiotic yogurt stuff. Yeah. And when I drink it, it feels like drinking clouds. So I love it. So
really?
It'd be,
Is that kombucha?
So it's like yogurt, but if you're allergic to what's that called in Irish? Lactose intolerant.
Lactose intolerant. So that's about bacteria.
Yeah. I love the way that we both went on that.
Yeah.
So if you're lactose intolerant, you have kefir because there's not a lot of lactose.
Lactose is from milk, so it's
made from milk, and it's sort of made from a bacteria that you can make from sour cream. And it's like drinking clouds, and I don't know, Polish food is super concentrated. Yeah, if you like
some. Can we get the next week?
Yeah. Oh, and you can give a live reaction. Does anyone drink kefir? It's Japanese dumplings. Absolutely, yes.
Okay, what was my favorite dish?
Oh, I don't really know that much about what you like to eat. I know you love tea. I know that you don't really have many dietary restrictions.
That's right. Very good. Very astute.
And I know that you like sort of salty things.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
Because you gave me a cracker last time.
Yeah.
Can we round it down? Is it like a Western meal or is it a different sort of country's meal?
Which continent am I going to have my favorite meal from?
Well, you moved to Campsie, so is it a Chinese meal?
It's actually Asian. It's Asian. You're close.
Oh, okay.
Vietnamese.
Pho. Yes.
Yeah.
Pho is the best.
And the condition was I wanted to eat it in Vietnam because I've never been to Asia. I've only been to America.
Right.
So I want to go to Vietnam and I want to eat it on the street.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. That would be my last meal. So
would it be chicken, beef, or like the multi-combo?
It would be. So I'm not a big fan of like tripe.
Yeah.
Or tendon. But I like
in our culture. That's not. Yeah, we don't really. We're not used to that. Yeah.
I'm boring. Like I just eat muscle, right? Like I want the raw beef,
Yeah.
and I want the brisket.
Okay.
But a beef ball. If the tendons have been like minced up, I'm
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But if I can see that it's a tendon, I'll try it, but I won't eat a whole bowl of it.
Right. Okay.
So like I've eaten everything at Yamcha. I've eaten chicken feet. I've eaten tripe. I've eaten what's the fucking fruit called?
Oh, durian.
Durian sweet.
Oh.
Sweet.
Oh.
So, do you like durian?
Guys, durian is a fruit that's really popular in Asia. It sort of looks like a pineapple to my memory. However, to people who are not familiar with it, it has a really strong scent.
Have you smelled it?
I've smelt it, and I really like Westerners. Like we really tend to not enjoy the scent of durian. You can smell it from far away. So much so that in a lot of Asian areas where Western tourists stay, they'll say like at the hotel gate, they'll say no durian. Like don't bring a durian near us, near the hotel.
It's the Vegemite of Asia, right?
Oh, the Vegemite. Yes.
Like every country has one. Like yeah, they have that in Sweden or whatever it is. They have that like fermented fish.
Right. Okay.
Thing. It comes in a can. When you open it up, it hisses.
Oh.
And it supposedly smells like it's rotting fish. It's fermented fish.
Nice.
I like Vegemite. Vegemite's tame.
Most people say sewage.
Sewage. Is that what the?
If I remember it, and it is coming. The smell memory is coming to me, but it's hard. I can't.
It's cheese. It's cheesy as well. I reckon that's the kind of like.
Right.
Yeah, but it's. I don't think of it like a fruit. It's more like a savory kind of thing.
Kind of thing. And so when you tried it, did you like it?
No.
So something for you guys to experiment with if you see a durian, or if you smell one, give it a try and let us know if you, or just in your life at some point, give it a try.
Yeah.
Do you still have Epic Genetics?
No, so I was at my first business when I left school. We were doing Peter and I were doing sex testing of birds at the zoo. Because birds, they don't have genitalia on the outside, so it's actually really hard to check their genetics.
Where is their genitalia?
It's on the inside. They got a cloaca.
The front, underneath. Where is it? It's underneath. Okay.
So birds and reptiles, they kind of have like, they're from dinosaurs, right? Dinosaurs didn't have genitalia on the outside either. It's inside, and you have to probe them to be able to find out whether they have which bits they have, right?
Yeah, right.
And like birds and reptiles are essentially the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're all dinosaurs exactly the same.
Right.
They have a cloaca, and that's like pee, poo, and sex organs, like all in the same bit.
Okay.
All uses the same hole, and then like generally have like the males will have like a penis or multiple penis. The plural of penis is penis. So they have two hemi-penis on the inside with snakes, and they like pop out. Birds, I think it's like one, but it's really easy to like use their okay. So anyway, hilarious fact I found out the other day. Goannas. So most snakes have, well, all snakes I know of have two hemi-penis, but the females only have one vagina. Except goannas, they have two clitori. I don't even know what the plural of that is. So it's like they're like double matched. Hemi-clitori. Someone knows the correct pronunciation.
What's the evolutionary purpose if you reckon?
That's homework for next week. I'm going to go and find out. Because I have a baby. My partner and I have a baby a full-grown sand monitor at home.
Sand monitor.
A little baby goanna.
Oh, okay. I was going, this is a machine, the sand monitor.
There was a meme, and it was like a wife to her husband, like, go out and buy whatever baby monitor you think is best. And he comes home with a baby goanna.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, yeah. So anyway, we used to do sex testing of birds because so blood doesn't have DNA, right? In humans, but in birds and reptiles it does.
Blood doesn't have DNA.
Yeah.
Where's the DNA? Is it in the bone? Where is it?
It's not in red blood cells. It's in white blood cells. So what's a red blood cell look like? The shape.
It's like a wiggly, right?
Kind of like a donut, but it's got a bit in the center. It's kind of like a pool floaty or something like that.
Wait, chuck that at the camera. What is it like?
So that's the thing. It's like a donut would be like a hole in the center.
Do you want to draw a picture?
I think I'm going to do a shithouse thing. What's something that looks like? It looks like kind of like a contact lens, right?
A contact lens is a red blood cell. Okay.
Kind of, yeah. It's like a donut, but that doesn't have a hole. It kind of almost goes through. Yeah?
Okay.
Now,
yeah.
But it doesn't have a nucleus. Otherwise, it would be like a sphere. So it's like got sucked out, right?
Okay.
That's because the last time it divides, there's a stem cell. And as it divides, one of them keeps the nucleus and the other one becomes a red blood cell. and it just keeps on making red blood cells. Boom, boom, boom,
Uh-huh.
boom. Now, in birds, it makes 2 nuclei, and when it divides, both of them have a nucleus, which means if it has a nucleus, it has DNA. So birds, we just take a drop of blood and we can examine it. But if you're ever watching CSI and they get a hair sample, there's no DNA in hair. It's made of protein.
Right.
There's no DNA in blood. There's DNA in semen. There's DNA in skin cells, some of them.
So skin cells are different from hair. I thought they were similar. No?
So if the skin cell, if the hair has skin at the bottom, you can get DNA from it.
Okay.
Maybe we'll do, actually, I just worked out a way to do DNA extraction. Maybe next week we'll do a science lesson.
Cool. That sounds really good.
Also, I want to do a Chinese lesson.
Yes. Would you guys like to learn some Chinese? Let us know.
I want to do a few words every single week to try and get my skills up.
Okay. All right.
So when China finally like conquers Australia,
yeah,
I'll be able to say, take them. Take them.
Take them.
Yeah.
Okay, so we just want to learn in Chinese how to say, not us.
Not us.
Okay.
Oh, here's a good question. Would you get Elon Musk's Neuralink installed in your head? You say you know what this is, right?
Yes.
It's a brain computer interface.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. Brain computer interface. I watched Elon Musk's presentation.
With the pigs?
With the pigs, yes.
What functionality would be required? What would you like to do straight from your brain to the computer?
Honestly, my first thought was I'm in a wheelchair and or I've got motor neuron disease and I can barely speak and I can barely move, so I'd be using it for communication and to do things. Yeah, that was my first. Yeah. I
would just want to be able to query Google for simple questions like, can fish get COVID? Boom, and just know the answer. Right?
Right, because that's only saving a few seconds. You could Google that. So that's only saving a few seconds though.
But all the time, because I'm always thinking these things, right?
Right.
Haven't you ever wondered, can fish get COVID?
Yeah, I wondered random stuff like that all the time. Do you guys
just know it straight away, right?
Just really, really random stuff all the time.
If they can't, they'll fucking make it so they can get COVID.
So Peter says, Peter Atkinson says, 我很好 is something, right? So that's, I'm good. That's like, you're like, ni hao, like how hey, how I'm good, I'm chill. All right, let's start to wrap it up because
have we covered everything? Is there anything we haven't covered? Oh, the only one thing we didn't cover, job seeker. So they announced a total of like $34 per week or something like that increase in job seeker, which is ridiculous. That's about the only other piece of news. I've been on Centrelink before and it's not enough to live on, and the government was like, okay, well, everyone's out of work because of COVID, let's up it a little bit, and they took it from like $200 a week to $215 a week or something.
Interesting.
Is there like welfare in China for like unemployed people?
I'm not entirely sure. That's not a question I've asked. I think there is. Well, I know there's a pension situation. But the other thing is Chinese people generally save all their lives. So they're generally, they're great money managers. So especially, and during COVID-19, when the shutdown happened in China, people weren't really worried about going under from, not having income because everyone had saved. So that's also, they're really good long-term planners. That's just, an interesting fact. But I'm not quite sure.
That's homework for next week. Well, thanks very much, everyone, for staying tuned. I've had a really good time.
Me too. Thanks. You guys made some really engaging comments. Thank you very much. You guys have some really interesting questions and things to say. Cool.
We'll be streaming to Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. We're going to try and set up an account. So keep an eye out. We'll share that hopefully across the next week. If there's anything you'd like to see more of, or there's something we didn't cover that you'd like, please let us know. If not, we're probably going to do something very similar to this again next Tuesday.
Cool. Awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, you guys. Hey, bye.